Cassiopeia still gone, but we still have Orianna, still have Syndra, and Locke as well. So I feel like it's that dangling here of the control mage. If you want to go for the control mage, you can, but you're going to get answered with a Locke.
I love this Viper Xayah ban from Anyone's Legend. To me, that signals a Lucian pickup first for AL, and BLG immediately read it, ban the Lucian away from Hope. So now we get to move into what could be maybe an Orianna slam as like
Orianna's
the next
risky.
best mage here.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, Seraphine for Ashe.
Risky to go for it because then you get answered with the lock, and then the lock kind of dumpsters you. So that's not the best, not the greatest way to go. Obviously, you take the Seraphine here. This is flexible as well. We've seen a little bit of Seraphine bot in the LPL recently as well. So you do still want to deny the pairing. The Ashe obviously going to be the... You would like to think the pickup by BLG, but then it's a question of what do you pair with it. A lot of the enchanters that you see are gone. I still think you can take Milio here for BLG and probably be quite happy. The reason that you would usually play Lucian Milio into Ashe Seraphine is for the big cleanse. So I would not be surprised to see the Seraphine answered here by Milio, but BLG don't need to take it here. We talked about all of those junglers. Do think that Lee Sin here for Jun could be something to consider. And as they see the Seraphine already locked in, they know that they're not going to need to take the Milio. Even if the Seraphine goes as a bot role, it's not going to be Seraphine Milio bot lane.
Interesting decision for Shun to have made there. Could have obviously gone for the Lee Sin, which was the strongest AD fighter jungler that was left in the pool. It has a great matchup into the Jarvan, can always get out of the Cataclysm and dodge out on those flag and drags. But at the end of the day, I think BLG recognized that whatever they pair with this Seraphine is going to be another stationary, rather immobile target, and you can easily lock down with that Cataclysm. And AL confirmed their suspicions with a Jhin to be paired with the Seraphine. So now AL going to try to give Breathe the best blind pick matchup possible with this Gnar lock-in, and at least they have it protected with the Vayne ban.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, there's plenty of picks still there. The Varus, the one that immediately comes to mind, but you have denied Narvan as a duo. You've also secured a little bit of backline threat as well. BLG here tossing up their options, toying with them. They can either get one of those big mage in the mid lane, or they can get a good answer to top lane. So they take the mage in the mid lane. They will ban Locke and Syndra most likely, get those off the board, where AL themselves will look at the Varus, will look at maybe another range top, maybe the Tristana, and take that away. But Flandre, again, have to remember that this is Flandre we're talking about. Is he the one who's going to pull out the Varus? Is he the one who's going to pull out the Tristana? We just don't know.
Only time will tell here. As you called out, Rude, Orianna now protected with that lock ban so that Knight does not get dumpstered by Shanks in the early stages of that laning phase here. A couple of things that you could try and ban away from this Gnar as well. Well, actually, the Olaf was the first thing banned by BLG, so I take that back. Well, that's all I got, Rude. That's the only other top laner. Yeah.
You know what? I'll pick it up. I like the Nautilus ban to take away. I do still think that Milio is the classic answer here, so I would be very surprised if Milio doesn't get banned by AL here. Feels like that's the really easy go-to. BLG, they need something to go with the Jarvan when they go in, and that probably comes from the top lane. So it might just be Flandre on Eat It duty. I think put him on Sion, put him on Ornn, where he gets rolled on against the Gnar, deal with it. But you are then able to play out with a really decent set of DPS. The Shen actually what gets banned here. So BLG removing some of those dive threats. And when I look at the BLG composition, I know I've asked for a tank top laner. Do they have enough damage if they go tank top is my concern, especially versus Seraphine.
That's what I'm thinking.
A little skeptical. So we might have to match Gnar with like a Gwen or something.
Oh, okay. This is where Flandre could put a stamp on why his value can be very much useful for BLG versus Bin. He's got a Twisted Fate top lane in the bag.
Well, and we'll see if it can come out and sing here, because it is going to need to. For BLG, as we see Shanks on Yone as the answer to the Orianna here. So, again, this is a composition that allows for an AP jungler. Not the super high-profile damage jungler I was looking for. This is not, for example, Lilia, not Nidalee, but I guess Maokai will have to do me.
It is interesting because, on the one hand, you think with AL, you have engaged tools with Seraphine, Gnar, follow-up from Jhin. Hell, Fate Sealed can also be a primary engaged tool if they're in a corridor. But I do like the utility that... What is going on here? Are we returning back to Camille support?
Looks like it. You know, barring any crazy TF support swaps coming out here, which I think definitely not advised in this case. It is indeed going to be on returning to the Camille support. The heavily nerfed, but Camille support.
If BLG wins with this, and Riot gets a whiff of this over in the gameplay design balance team department, where you're like, I thought we killed this.
They're all sleeping, right? They're all asleep now, surely. So that's the
It is
hope.
7:45 a.m. over in California, so
they'll have woken up, going on
they
their
will
morning
have
runs. I don't know what time they're supposed to get into the office, but it's a Sunday, so surely they're, you know, sleeping in.
Could
Here's
be
me
now, could be
advocating for a
later.
bad work-life balance. That's the goal right now.
Who knows? It all depends on whether On pops off or not. If he does, then it will push the narrative that Riot has not done enough to nerf Camille support out of the meta. But
I'm all for more Camille top buffs. That's all I'm gonna say. We can.
Me too.
Slide that in under the table into the next patch. Thank you very much. I think Camille is such a good top lane champion for competitive. I think she's such a garbage support champion for competitive. But hey, you know, that's my 2 cents.
Sometimes that's how it is, Rude. As we'll see how BLG and AL close out our season as we head to Game 3. So, once again, the AL fans were closer to the crowd mic, but I feel like there were many more BLG fans there supporting the squad on the last round of Gios here.
And that's probably, you know, a product of a very boring end to game number 2. Not to mince words, to call it how it is. You know, BLG had won that game probably 15 minutes in and then didn't end for another 25 after that. So hopefully this one will have a little bit more volatility at the very least.
Well, On is already linking up with Viper to try and put the pain into Hope and Kael's health bars here at the level 1 all-in.
So On read the patch notes. This is the newly buffed W Camille start for the Camille down in the bot side. And, you know, getting a good trade in there. Puts the W forward, gets a couple of autos down. Level 2.
Oh my goodness. Wow, wow, wow. If Viper was closer, he would have been able to potentially flash for an auto attack to finish off Hope there.
Hello?
It didn't reset, did it? Oh, okay.
Well, something
Well,
did.
On is just going to go for the immediate flash, and he follows up with a hook shot. Oh my gosh, what nerves! On just smirks at all of the patch changes to his favorite support champion coming out of MSI into Split 3 and says, yeah, I'm still him.
Okay, well, On is just kind of smurfing, to be completely honest. Like, Viper has done, not to discredit Viper here, very little down on this bot lane. This is one of those games where you're like, well, I don't really have to do anything. Knight could find Shanks there. Q goes wide, so doesn't quite find lethal. But Viper doesn't have to do anything here. Viper's just solo winning the lane. Oh, no.
And he's going to solo win mid lane too, potentially. On Gonna be taking turret aggro, but he's got the movement speed boost from Knight's Command Dissonance so that he gets out of harm's way, but that's a flash down on the Shanks. Oh, is he dead
flash?
now? Uh-oh.
No flash ready. One more Q. Oh! You know what? Shanks, pressure sponge there in the mid lane. Done quite well, I think. Absorbs the gank, and this is now giving time over to Hope to slowly rekindle a little bit of the gold.
All right, it's all a bait. No. Oh, the hookshot doesn't quite connect, but you know what? He doesn't need it. Shun just needs to be able to escape. And the unfortunate thing about Tarzan playing Maokai early on, he's got great CC, not that much damage. And now Viper's going to try to run down Hope. No flash, no cleanse. Viper, he's got lethal tempo stacked up. Not going to be enough. All
right. I think if you wanted to send a message, you could have flash auto-queued. Got auto-attack reset, found the kill. But if he wants to play the game smartly, he, you know, catches the wave.
There's already a lot of freak things happening on our screen right now. Viper just wanted to give us a little bit of a normalcy here. Now, Tarzan trying to fight over for these chicken nuggets. On deflects it somewhat. Forced the hookshot away, and Tarzan gets his prize at the end of it all, but now Shun is looking for a counterattack here. Tactical sweep. My goodness, how much damage did they put into this Camille W? On clearly has labbed this one out. Shanks finally will be able to get a second kill of the game for AL, but at the cost of his own life.
I mean, AL are playing right into the hands of BLG here. They can play standard and hopefully win out on a late game team fight. Instead, BLG know, okay, we've got a little bit of a crazy comp with this Camille support. We need to make the game volatile, and it's almost like AL have just completely forgotten how the first 2 weeks of this split went.
BLG giving them a very sharp and then painful reminder on what happens when a Camille is allowed to just roam freely. I mean, remember, it's not just Camille being directly nerfed, it's Halo Blades being nerfed, it's Sundered Sky being nerfed, it's the gold penalty bounty on your support quest being nerfed until you're level 5 now versus level 3, so On is still not going to be getting that much gold if he's just trying to tag what are the charges off of his support quest, and yet he's still making it work.
Which, you know, credit to On, why he's pulled this out here in a game number 3. Knight looking mid lane, knows he's got his jungler here as well. Neither one of these guys level 6. Knight might be after another wave, same for Shanks, but a lot of manoeuvring by these junglers in this mid lane. It's felt quite volatile, and I think that is, again, to BLG's credit. As the game gets a little bit later on, the expectation becomes that the Yone going to have a lot more agency, a lot more onus on himself to make the play happen. But if you can't get there, BLG will be more than happy with that.
At least Tarzan's got saplings to be able to scout things for himself. On really has adapted to this Camille W change, leading with it all the time. Hope might be in trouble, cleansing the slow, and that is not going to do nothing for you. BLG. Oh, Viper's sending an arrow down mid lane. Should be spotted here, so Shanks backs off just in time. Unless it hits the Gnar square in the forehead! Woo!
Alrighty. Close.
Another ulti.
No
this time, it's for On, and from Tarzan's Maokai. Shanks lands the knockup. It's still a level 3 Camille. He's quite squishy, but just not enough damage from the Panda crew.
Blandra flashes from a boulder. That'll be it. But again, across the board, Raafaa, these guys, they want to throw some hands, okay? Game number 2 ended with the most snooze fest oriented game in the world. In this game, we're getting some spice from the get-go.
I love it. This is the closest to what I imagine a BLG AL Scrim set looks like.
I think we've had too few assassins picked in the mid lane.
That
to be fully encompassing that, you know?
You know what? That's why I said this is the closest.
True.
Doesn't necessarily
I haven't seen Shanks play Zed yet on stage, and that means that it's not as close as we could get.
We must go further.
Alrighty. With Viper, though, I want to quickly call this out. He didn't really get too much out of the bot lane because On was... well, has now really left, like, is still level 3. Hasn't particularly returned to the bot lane to get XP for a while. But As I see the arrow just get dodged away from. Well played there by Shanks. We're looking for a fight on the top side. Ghost popped immediately by Flandre. And Destiny
He also uses the Destiny so that he could scout out that there was a Tarzan en route to top lane.
My point being here,
yeah.
Viper deserves some credit here for his performance on the Ashe, finding the solo kill versus Hope, up 25 CS, has a plating for himself as well. I know that he was given some resources, but being able to use those resources is really, really impressive.
Ooh, the shockwave just a hair too late. Shanks is able to flash that, and now On might pay the price here unless Knight is actually going to force the hand. Oh, more auto attack! The wind-up passive! Can't disrespect that. And On still doesn't even go down despite all of the chaos he has caused in the mid lane.
I mean, I do think if Shanks actually used his ulti to be aggressive, he might have been okay. I guess when you know that Knight and On both still have flash, it is definitely sealing your fate, but I guess the answer there is that Kael doesn't just get solo killed in the mid lane. One clock wind up, gets summoner healed from. What the heck? Have I ever sounded more British than I did just then? I don't think so.
Just one death away from a bloody hell being ripped on broadcast from Roodood here.
And I can promise you that.
Yeah, we do have a dragon to play for, but neither of the squads have really had time to look at this Cloud Drake as a real objective. The objectives have just been each other.
You're quite right. I think that's probably the best way we could have phrased it here. Both of these teams not particularly bothered about fighting around neutrals, fighting one another though, they definitely are. Breathe. Yoink, thank you very much. Picks up Flandre, now down on the bot side.
Oh
Cleanse
my goodness.
comes through.
Hope still will be able to survive it all. Ignite comes through, damages him a bit, and now it's his turn to fire on back. Curtain call, bullets are flying. Can the fourth one find its mark here? Double beat drop does not land, so On is able to space it out, and that is 0 for 4 on bullets finding their target here. Shun is just gonna look for a quick Drake secure.
Yeah, for me, if these Jin bullets are reminiscent of how the game's gonna go, that's not looking great for anyone's legend. This, however, probably the best it could look, and is again kind of adding to this picture that Breathe has got the better of Flandre through this series thus far.
Yeah. If we were to do all pro votes and just include Flandre's performance versus Breathe, we definitely would have Breathe higher up at the end of the table season rankings here over Flandre.
But as it is, I don't think there are too many top laners that are challenging Zweon currently, as Flandre locks in that red card, gives Tarzan what for. Forces the flash. All right.
Like that combo. Obviously, you don't see Orianna and Twisted Fate in the same game, at least on the same team together that often. Hope taking some damage there, but just giving Twisted Fate the extra movement speed boost, and then from him ferrying for a quick command attack into Shockwave, forces the flash out of Tarzan. It's just some cute synergy stuff between the solo laners of BLG.
I think we're waiting very patiently as AL for this mid lane matchup to actually start going into the favour of the Yone. It's been a long time coming, and the expectation is that it should happen eventually. It normally happens around level 6, but sidestep. But doesn't actually feel like that's going to happen with the lead that Knight has been given, with the deficit that Shanks is facing. You know, he's gone for the Vamp Scepter to try and stave off some of the damage from Knight, but just the second that he comes back into the lane, you can see under pressure from the off.
Yeah, I mean, Brother's trying to sustain from Fleet, Vamp, and Resolve secondary runes, and Dorn Shield, and that's not enough with how much pressure Knight has been able to put down. So that paints quite a vivid picture for you in the mid lane.
And you know what? I am happy about this. There was a time where Yone would just sit versus, you know, mages, absorb everything, and be fine. Not going to catch him out here, but he does have to go back.
Whoo! Kael responding with a flash of his own, matching that of On's, but the Shockwave still clips him and ensures that it is a 1-for-1 trade. But for BLG, they will happily take the sacrifices of Camille for the price of a Yone's head.
Alrighty, big move from BLG to again put this Yone down. This is the real carry that AL are going to have to rally behind as the game gets later, so putting it in the dirt is the way forward for BLG. All this time, Viper able to pick up gold in the bot lane, Knight able to extend that lead even further. And just look at how homeless the two carries for AL are down on the bot side. We've got plated steel caps and a serrated Dirk versus Berserker Boots and a Kraken Slayer and a lot of shivs alongside it, so Viper is feeling really good. Knight is equally feeling very good as well versus what is, again, components for Shanks, but nothing like a competitive Yone strength.
Oh my goodness, Shanks is feeling the beatdown from both the mid laner and the bot laner now of BLG as we have shifted the Orianna into the bot side of the map. Should be able to enable a full court press from mid and bot just in time for the second dragon spawn in 1 minute and 30 seconds here. And when you called for coaches being able to give their team a early game draft, and this time you will smash with it, well, so far BLG are living up to the task.
Well, the question is, can they close this one out? Right, problems that we've had thus far are, well, they've not been able to. But feels like BLG are on the right track. It's not like their composition scales poorly. You've got the Ashe, you've got the Orianna, both of those quite powerful. Ooh, goodbye half your HP.
Goodbye your flash.
Yeah, goodbye all your HP. Well, it's a good flash, but is it one that you really wanted to give up to prevent Knight from getting another solo? Or it might be his first solo kill, to be fair, but probably not something you wanted to give up.
Shun trying to steal this blue buff away, but Tarzan's mid laner is not going to be able to join in the fray. Might not matter, though. Oh, the Blast Cone actually punts Shun out of the Encore. And he's able to reposition, knocks up Hope and says, see you later. But Shanks, already having TP'd in, catches him with a Fate Seal. And now Shun, all he can do is just try and see if he can get a 1-for-1, and not going to get it.
Alright, Hope finds a kill. In the top lane, we did see that Flandre found a solo kill on to Breathe.
Oh.
And without Enchanted Crystal Arrow being used either, so, you know, maybe thinking that that could have been the way out. Probably just Flandre getting a little bit of a bush bait and catching out. Now a TP down to this bot side. BLG want to try and take this dragon, even without a jungler.
Knight is spotted on the flank. Here comes the arrow. It parts the Red Sea. Shanks is able to knock up Knight and keep him at a distance, but he's taking a lot of damage as recompense for it. Curtain Call bullets are flying. One more, can it land? No, but it's not. Doesn't even matter. It's the burn from the side of anyone's Legends jungler being able to use that Liandry's Torment and the fully upgraded jungle pet.
So a little bit of bite back from AL here. Flandre is going to find Hope here. Cleanse, why have you done that, Hope? That is completely useless. But it is going to give AL a couple of kills. They also found that dragon, and they got the shutdown onto Knight. Now, it did go to Tarzan, who, again, on this Maokai, may be the least likely to do anything with it. Okay, well, there was no ulti from the Ashe, but I think that this Camille ulti is more than enough.
It was not a true 1-for-1. It was a interference from On's Camille. And now Shun, alongside On, is running even more interference. Kael is getting quite low, but Breathe able to escort him back to safety alongside Shanks. Now Tarzan could be the sacrificial lamb here. And that tree is cut down to size back into a Minecraft block. And BLG might have enough time to push in through this tier 1.
Yeah, as far as trees go, BLG were walking out of the forest, and then Tarzan kind of whacked them over the head with the branch as they were leaving. Now, Twisted advancing, quite ill-advised, I think, and definitely signed his own death sentence, but as it is, finds himself now with a second death on the board. And BLG back to winning ways. That little blip from the dragon fight seems like it's not really cost them all that much. As yes, Tarzan finds a small lead for himself, but that's about it. Breathe.
Well, he's going to find the Mega Gnar onto Knight into the wall, but this Ashe Arrow, can it save Knight? Is it enough time? Yes, it is! Viper!
No!
Oh my god!
hey, you know, if you want to vote for your All-Pros and maybe even your MVPs, Viper for me has been incredible. Pretty much this entire split has added so many layers to the BLG composition through the early stages of this split. And now, I mean, I know this is just a blip on the radar, like a flash in the pan for BLG, but that arrow, again, signifies just the greatness that this player does have.
There's a reason why, when we were talking about who was the most important person to BLG's success this regular season, at least for Split 3, it wasn't just immediately Knight. There had to be some thought into it. Viper has had some stellar performances throughout the regular season. He was one of the bot lanes that adapted extremely well to the mage meta, probably the best one apart from Jackie Love. And even as we return to Marksman, he's still been stellar.
Yeah, I mean, I might even argue he adapted better than Jackie Love. I know Jackie Love had the Xerath, but I feel like very few marksmen have been looking to pull out a Carly down in their bot lanes, but...
Or Vladimir.
Azael, yeah, just look for a Hail Mary down bot lane, don't find anything, gives BLG the inside track on mid. And again, another game that feels like it's been not necessarily forced from AL's hands, but has slowly slipped away after a series of solid early game plays. I want to see, so arrow gets fired about now. So when the Gnar comes through, that's when the ulti gets popped off. Knight just has the cooldowns. Again, if Breathe gets one more auto attack in, it's a solo kill for him, but not to be found.
If no one got Knight, I know Viper got Knight. My goodness.
I think for these two teams here, we highlighted this at the top of the show, that this was a series between our top two. And going into this, we were hoping for some quite close, quite back and forth games. Honestly, Mark, I'm left feeling underwhelmed by this, as all three of the games really have felt decided. You know, in game number 1 and 2, we knew one of these compositions scaled better, and when that scaling happened, well, that team won. This time out, though, in game number 3, BLG have, you know, locked in this Camille support, which, to give credit to On, has been attempted to be nuked from the meta. But On says, no, it's still good here, and I will play it. Does so, and comes out absolutely swinging in the early stages of this game. Currently still 8 out of 11 kills for his team. Higher than a Jarvan. If you have kill participation higher than a Jarvan, you know you're doing something right. That Champ Prince KP for no reason. And On this Camille has really leveled up BLG in how convincing they look in this game. Like, AL have never had a sniff this match at all.
Listen, On was a better jungler than Shun was in this game.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
Advocate for support MVPs.
Yes, this is, for me, an On player of the game. And if it's not On, then it has to be Viper. Otherwise, something has gone terribly wrong. BLG gonna be sieging on this tier 2 of Ash Herald. Doesn't connect. That's okay. AL are gonna pop the Rift Herald just because they have to. And I'm not sure if it's gonna get any value, unfortunately.
It is going to get value. BLG are going to get about 50 gold from it, and it's going to be lovely.
True.
But, I mean, what are BLG waiting for? We've got 21 minutes on the clock. Baron is live. But they've done all of the hard work here. They're trying to do all of it without the Baron. So if they can take tier 2, they're diving.
They want to make sure that On doesn't get the play of the game. He's the first one to fall. Knight is going to be the next one on the chopping block. But Viper, just with the flurry of arrows, is able to just gun them all down. This Arrowman looks more like a gunman, and Shun with a beautiful flag and drag flash finds the knock-up onto Shanks. Viper sidestepping almost everything. This guy is just a monster, and he cannot be stopped unless Kael can get into the fray and find a beat drop from range. But Shun will give his life to trade one back onto Hope, and boy, oh boy, it has not been a good Jhin performance from the AL AD carry. BLG continue to have control of the game.
The fight was going so well for Hope. Like, he did everything right, was playing nicely, got a good set of Jhin shots down, and then he face checks Jarvan. That, I mean, really, really big blunder here. But On goes really aggressive. I like from Tarzan that he's immediately on top of the Orianna Knight. There's very little in this fight, and that's why it's actually favourable for anyone's legend. Flandre and Viper both flash away from the Fate Sealed, but in fairness, again, Hope able to land on 3-4 bullets here. But then Kael goes the wrong way around this wall. He doesn't protect his marksman. And as Hope steps forward here, he knows he can get the 4th shot and then flash away. But then this face check is completely illegal. Walking into a Jarvan like that, yeah, that's never going to end well.
I still can't get over the fact on how well Viper just astro glided in that fight. That was some clean movement. And once again, if you are considering who you want to submit for your All-Pro ballots, make sure to use the ! Discord chat code so that you can pull up the ballot and submit your votes. And I know that Viper is definitely going to be in there for my All-Pro.
We'd like to see what your votes are looking like too. 24 minutes into this game here, Raafaa. Still waiting for BLG to grace AL with Death's Kiss here. Try and take that Baron. Close out this game. I think that when Tarzan shows bot lane, that'll be the window.
Flandre has forced... Wow. Flandre forced the hand of Breathe to flash away, and he's able to not only pour it out with the Destiny on the bot side, and then TP immediately to the top side and say, thank you for showing yourself on the bot side of the map, Tarzan. We will take this Baron for free now.
Alrighty. I mean, that is as good as it gets, to be honest with you, for BLG. Knew that when BLG headed towards the Baron, it was going to be a difficult thing to contest. Obviously, as Maokai, it's possible to try and get some of those looks in using the saplings, but there's a TP now behind Breathe, and I think Tarzan... He probably knows that his top lane is dead. Oh, no.
Well, the arrow goes wide, and that should spell something's up. The sombrero flash! I love it.
You know, there was a window where Knight kind of thought, what if he outplays me? And he's removed that from contention. That is not a possibility. Sombrero flash, as highlighted. Pretty effective. This Gnar with just the magic resist of Merc Treads, not quite enough to hold up to a 3-item Orianna.
That's one way to mog your opponent in real time. Just use your flash for style points at that rate when you do have a 9.5k gold lead in the bag. And off of that solo kill from Knight, he's going to change his Dark Seal into a Magi Soul Stealer, because he's feeling confident about hitting 25 chapters before this game is over.
I think he's bought it in every game so far this series. Obviously, Game 2 went a lot better than Game 1, but he did sell it at the end of Game number 1 on the Ahri, but finds himself in a position where on this Orianna feels confident enough to burn his flash aggressively for the top laner. So, obviously not holding too many reservations about the book straight after that. If AL, though, can capitalise, I think they'll be in a good spot to take down the Orianna. We have seen that they have got some glimpses of CC chaining between the Gnar and the Seraphine. They have got a good amount of lockdown. It's just about finding it onto the right targets. If they, again, BLG find themselves with 3 carries here. So you have to catch all 3 of them to make it a worthwhile fight.
And with the Baron buff, BLG blasts through the top tier 2 turret, making their way to the inhibitor tower. Shanks able to sidestep the Ash Arrow using the Soul Unbound, and Tarzan is trying to prep himself a flank angle with the Nature's Grasp. Unfortunately, the rest of BLG are going to make their swift exit unless they can catch out Knight. He uses the Rocket Belt to escape the range of the Curtain Call. Shanks cannot catch up in time to look for a Fate Sealed engage.
Yeah, you would think maybe Flash ulti could come through, but then if you chase too far, can your team actually follow up? And do you just get one shot by the Orianna? All of these things have to be considered, and Shanks did so. Managed to escape, and, well, rather, Knight was managing to escape. Shanks didn't commit all the way in. Well, BLG used that Baron relatively effectively. They didn't break open the base just yet, which... given the lead that they've got, again, I think they probably could have done. I'm sensing a lot of reservation on this BLG team. And we can start to see, I think that they've just pieced it all together now. Hold on. put the ball on ulti somebody, I ulti them,
Oh
and
my
then the game
goodness.
is won.
It's all coming together.
I
Now,
don't think we've seen that combo yet. Maybe once.
When you go into Hextech Ultimatum, does the ball disappear from you?
Surely not, right? I would imagine not.
Because you are briefly untargetable when that happens. But
Yeah, but that doesn't normally do things to your team, to your team's buffs, you know? Oh, hello.
okay, well, quick flash out of Flandra, and it goes. He's cutting this one out. Does he fancy this 1-for-1? I think he does. Does he pour it back in? Yes, sir. Put me back in the ring with him. But Tarzan is eliminating Flandra from the 1-for-1 successfully. As Shun tried to escape with the flag and drag, but snagged by Breathe with the Mega Gnar ultimate. He tries to flash away. G is going to be expended here caught out on the wrong side of the tracks. And Knight and Viper might be forced to run away from this one. Shockwave only clipping onto Tarzan. Decent damage, but not enough to stop him on his assault here. Knight and Viper on the wrong side of the jungle, but they should be able to make it out with enough time.
Second consecutive large-scale fight that anyone's Legend have kind of come out on top of there. Tarzan doing very nicely to save his mid laner. Flashes in and gets the Twisted Advance Bramble Smash to cause some sort of CC. And now anyone's Legend barreling it down mid lane. Got a lot of plates to try to get through. Fortunately, they've got a lot of members to help them do it. And we have gone on long enough that Hope has now been able to pick up an Infinity Edge on the Jhin. Yes, it's still a Youmuu's for a little bit of safety, but there is a bit of damage now coming into this Jhin's build. They don't manage to get the tier 1 turret. They don't manage to particularly push back all that much here. And with 90 seconds left on the Dragon Soul for BLG, anyone's Legend and their plans are definitely well documented. This is the fight down on the bot side. Flandra, really good heads-up play to take this 1 versus 1, but unfortunately, they did not, well, I say did not account for. Had Destiny, just thought he could kill the TF in time. And then Breathe here, well-timed ulti, stops the flag and drag from getting away. And we were a little bit worried here, I think, to begin with. Hope was reloading, Shun didn't get forced to GA. Maybe Viper was going to have a little bit of a gliding moment. But he does cleanse out of the Maokai ulti, and Tarzan, with enough pressure, forces the BLG carries away.
On the one hand, Tarzan ruined the sanctity of the 1v1, but on the other hand, AR down 9k gold.
Yeah, it wasn't a fair 1v1.
It was never going to be a fair fight. You will do anything and take all costs necessary to claw yourself back into a winning game state.
I think from here, you know, BLG, I would hope that they've recognized the error in their ways, and one swift 5 versus 5 should secure them a win here. The problem is that they don't really have that much setup. They're playing with a Camille, so level 10 on here, definitely going to struggle to find a way in without getting immediately blown up.
Arrow exchanged for what I imagine was a Mikhail's Crucible from Kael. Breathe about to go Mega, but already at 50% HP. Trying to base, but
this whole time. He has TP, but he's just going to lose the whole window of this Mega Gnar. It's going to have to be the most snappy engage, really, that you've ever seen.
Looks like anyone's Legend are just going to take their chances of fighting a 4-on-5 for now, so that Breathe can pick up this entire wave that is crashing into the top side turret. This is on BLG to try and force the upper hand when Gnar is in mini form and won't be able to regen to Mega anytime soon.
Oh, get back
so
here.
Now, here we go.
Breathe. Okay, TP's in finally. Honor's repositioned with the portal.
He's going to be too late unless Tarzan can get a Q Smite flash in there. 2000 HP. Massive shockwave from the golden left hand and brings anyone's Legend down. BLG will run them further beyond the grave and back into the shadows from where they came from. Shanks, on one last Hail Mary stand, ends up being smited where he once stood. And BLG will be able to finally put to rest the conversation of who is the better squad. Is it the Pandas? Is it Top Esports? Is it Bilibili Gaming? Well, we all know the answer to that. Who emerged at the end of the regular season as the #1 team going into the playoffs.
A 5-man push to close out this series. Anyone's Legend, their bot lane still standing. They will try to hold the line.
Really nice encore flash from Kael. Is it enough to actually stall this game out? The Shockwave doesn't even get a chance to go off. I take it back.
Hold
Anyone's
on.
Legend still has a fight left in them. Triple kill comes out from Hope. And they are going to be looking for more. Flandra barely gets a chance to pour it out. There is a window to force the Baron when Tarzan is up and Shun isn't.
And that's exactly what they're going to do, Raafaa here. BLG overplayed their hand. Yes, they got the Hextech Soul, but they didn't end the game. Now that Nexus turret is going to respawn as well. Anyone's Legend are going to have the next 3 minutes to at the very least stall. And provided that the game doesn't end in that time frame, there's an opportunity that we could see a great flip at an Elder. Anyone's Legend here. They are not done just yet. But BLG, boy, do they look good.
Anyone's Legend are going to have to do a lot more than just a base defense and take a Baron for free. This has got to be the start of the most incredible comeback that needs to be executed without BLG giving over a very considerable chance to fight back. And
I mean, that's the first turret that AL have taken, and it was taken by a minion wave, just to paint the picture for how far behind AL are. Looking for On.
oh, the Mega Gnar ultimate whiffs on the On, was trying to look for the quick scoop, but finds no dice. Now Shun is attacking from the right side, ready to cut them off. Flandra with the Destiny will give vision of all 5. And AL are panicking. The GA from Shun will allow him to dive in boldly. Flandra assisting with the gold card. Shockwave hits no one, though. The rest of Anyone's Legend are keeping their distance. They're keeping their health bars up. They stay alive. They burn multiple tools from the side of BLG.
And in this late game, Raafaa, the power of a Seraphine is not to be undersold. Is 3 items with the Moonstone, so is doing a lot of healing when that Diadem gets picked up as well. This is going to be quite a terrifying support to play into. If you don't land that one shot, that's a big problem. Obviously, Knight very much geared toward landing such a spell, being able to Shockwave into one-tapping somebody, but we can see that, you know, Tarzan does decent damage. Hope, what's that, 85% crit chance now on the Jhin? A little bit more because you always crit on 4th shot. So actually, I mean, BLG, yes, they're 7k gold to the good. Yes, they've got so much damage. But I feel like Camille at this stage in the game falls into, not quite to the same extremities, but Pyke territory.
Yep.
Where if you ever go in, you just get blown up. And that means that you're playing these fights out kind of in a 4 versus 5. Tension now for BLG, I think.
BLG have run into, unfortunately, the same dread and concern that a lot of the early game compositions ran into in the prior games of the series. They don't have a true tank on their team that can easily walk in, front line, absorb poke and damage. And even though BLG were ahead for pretty much the entire game 3 here, Anyone's Legend have scaled up a decent amount. And their carries, yes, Shanks is 3k gold down, Breathe is 3k gold down. But they still do damage. They still have to be respected in these corridors and these chokeholds. So BLG have to be extremely cautious on how they approach, even if they are favored.
It's absolutely those corridors that are important. The CC available to AL is a lot higher than that of BLG. We've already seen one big shockwave from Knight. We've equally seen a big whiff from him as well. But if that shockwave lands, that's the best way for them to probably just outright flat win a fight. Obviously, we're now at the stage. Knight is full build. Viper, gracious that Riot granted him a 6th item slot. We'll be able to work on probably a Bloodthirster. Maybe works his way up to that 100% crit strike chance in the not too distant future. But he's still got a good amount of gold left to go before he gets there. And if Breathe can land that CC, if Shanks can, if Tarzan can, if Kael can, the straight line wombo combo it exists for anyone's legend, and now with an Infinity Edge in Shanks' back pocket, it exists and it hurts.
The unfortunate reality for BLG is that none of their main engagers are tanky enough to survive a full burst rotation from AL. Once they go in, it is more than likely a one-way trip, so they have to pull off the wombo combo of a lifetime so that AL are not given a window back into the game. They have waited out the entirety of the 5-minute duration in between dragons. On's Edge of Night will be procced by a stray sapling. The Elder Dragon has arrived to Summoner's Rift.
Shun goes over. Quickly darts back, knowing that he's got the cone there. AL establish a little bit here of mid-prio. Sidewave's not in their favour particularly at all here. And Tarzan looking to do a little bit of poke.
Oh, nice poke onto Tarzan. Just go immediately for the tank and the guy that has the smite. It has been eliminated from contention for the side of anyone's legend. No 50-50s will come from this flip, but anyone's legend are still pressed to look for the fight anyway. You're absolutely right, Roodood. Shun is going to heal off of a camp, and they will play the stalling game. It's 43 seconds before Tarzan respawns on Summoner's Rift.
AL can't afford to give this up. They have to keep trying to keep BLG interested and make sure that this Elder is never taken low enough. They still have some big tools available, but the issue is that the longer this goes, the more likely those big cooldowns are going to come up for BLG. Shockwave up in 10 seconds. TP back in from Night. AL, this is your last stand.
Breathe is trying to build up rage as fast as possible. 8,000 HP on the Elder Dragon. Shanks getting brought incredibly low. That Soul Unbound is going to take him back to his fate. Breathe tries to go in, stopped immediately in its tracks. Meganar only onto one. Shun gets the GA back up. He's totally fine, and as he dashes back into the Dragon, the rest of BLG are doing all the damage they need to eliminate any last hope from the side of anyone's legend. Elder Dragon secure comes through, and it's now just the stray marksman left on the board for BLG to clean up. A Shockwave will be overkill at this point, and now it is only the front runner MVP Tarzan who can try and pull off a miracle.
Walk with the wave, protect the minions, BLG. Don't do a silly at this late stage. Jun cuts off Tarzan, the carries storm down mid lane, and BLG look just as good.
Tarzan, when one last effort will be denied a miracle. BLG will win the final regular season series and let us all know that BLG is ready for playoffs.
Well, it wasn't easy for BLG. They obviously lost game number 1 and then thought about losing game number 3 as well. But when the chips were down, when it mattered most, their carries did step up. And I highlight their carries importantly. For me, Viper, again, a standout in this game. On that Ashe was consistently pumping out the DPS, was very, very active, and really forced every mistake that AL had. Shanks going in with the Fate Sealed at the end, flashed by Viper. He knows that's the one tool that can get access to him at that stage, and if the Yone gets on top of him, he absolutely just dies. So it's a really good look by the AD carry of BLG to really seal the deal and make sure that this game was picked up, secured, and not a problem anymore.
When the chips were down and seemingly almost comebackable for anyone's legend, I think BLG did a great job of identifying which of their members could not be anywhere within the vicinity of AL's pick range. That meant that On was no longer the person that was trying to roam around and look for vision for the side of BLG. He was in fact catching side lane farm safely away from where AL was, because they knew that if On ever got picked off, that's a 5-on-4. You like those Ons.
And they constantly did as well, right? Like, you were talking about who could be in their range, even using Jun's GA to know that that's the little bit of space that we can buy. They were constantly playing on that edge. They were constantly looking with the exact right amount of bated breath and knowing that these are the minimum amounts that we can give up before the game would become more difficult. I mean, AL even got a Baron for free. Did they take mid-tier 1 with it? I don't think so. So, you know, all of these things that BLG had that AL could only dream of just go to show quite why this team is really so feared. And again, you know, they've already secured a first stand. They've already secured 2 splits. Like, this BLG side should be feared, and a 2-1 here is, again, another showcase for why.
At least for BLG, even though that this does not have any significant implications for standings, since those seedings for playoffs were already locked as of earlier today / yesterday, but it was still a good preview of what could come for both BLG and for Anyone's Legend, and it was a good opportunity for them to try and, in a stage setting, flex different playstyles that was maybe not necessarily what their MMO was for the regular season. Obviously, we got to see both strong scaling compositions come out from AL and BLG that put a little bit more trust in their marksman carries to be able to pick up the slack and clean up the pieces when it came to 30+ minute scenarios. But I find it very optimistic for BLG that they still found a way to force a Kael support for On, as he is one of the few supports in the world that, even with the nerfs, I would trust to still play this champion.
I mean, I remember at the very beginning of this split, we were looking at Kael supports who were not looking so good. I remember we had a Zwo lowlights clip for one of my early packages for top esports, and it was largely centered around Kael, and I feel like we'd be hard pressed to find one of those for On. He was the reason this game started out so well for BLG. He got the snowball rolling right. He did his job. And it does make me curious a little bit towards that player of the match, player of the game, excuse me, and then obviously player of the match is a different conversation. But for this game in particular, definitely felt like On fell off a little bit, but that's kind of the nature of the Kael support. I feel like his early game was incredible, right? He was the reason that BLG had that lead. And then you have to look at, well, why did BLG actually win this game? Why was it difficult? And then why did they win? Because I think that's where the answer lies to who gets the player of this game.
Many things to consider. I still want to give it to On just for the sauce that he demonstrated in the early game. I mean, like, as soon as you called out the fact that On started level 1 with W and just recognizing, wow, this guy read the patch notes and realized, holy moly, wait, W does a considerable amount of damage now. I didn't think it would be that significant of a change, but for him to switch up that playstyle, maybe it was his way of kind of pulling a gotcha moment onto Hope and Kael, because normally when you see Kael level 1 as a support, we've all been conditioned to expect hookshot, right? It's like, okay, where's the hookshot? Where's the hookshot? And then immediately tactical sweep, slowed, and then he just walks up and procs the Halo Blades auto attacks anyway, and you're just thinking, the hell? What?
That's a strat? You can do that? Wait, that's not allowed. That's not how Kamel's play the game. You're supposed to take E level 1. I'm supposed to flash it. This isn't okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think, though, for BLG that this is obviously it's a very good end, but I think it paints their season in an even better now light. Being 1 series away from second place is, you know, you're still first, right? But being 3 series away from second, that is a considerable advantage and a real boost to their outlook, I think, going into playoffs, right? People will, when we get around to Worlds, commentators, they're going to look at the scoreboards, they're going to look at the standings, and they're going to go, okay, BLG stomped regular season. That's what happened. And then if they end up winning the season, you know, we're not prophets, we don't know. But they're going to look at the scoreboards, they're going to look at 12-2, and they're going to think, right, nobody could touch them in regular season. They played whatever they played in playoffs, and then they got into the Worlds event. Whereas if they're looking at this with, you know, BLG 11-3, AL 10-4, it was a very close split between the two of them. Like, it colors the entire outlook of this split. So I think for BLG, it's great to get this series win as well, and to be able to do it with very different picks that we are currently seeing in the meta is an extra boost for them.
Yeah. Beautifully said. And the hope is that when it comes to World Championship, that broadcast team will have done their homework, which I think there's definitely been a few good actors on the team in past years, especially ones who were involved with the LPL in some capacity in years prior before then moving on to the current league that they are working for now. So, but LPL regular seasons are always so funny to look back on because we and the rest of the co-streamers that cover LPL will all remember the times that Top Esports swept BLG in the middle of the season. They'll remember the times that Top Esports dropped back-to-back sweeps against both WE and LGD. All the stumbles and the hiccups and the imperfections of our supposed top teams that we'll be sending into the World Championship in just a couple months. And those are the small things that might get missed in the storytelling, who knows? But I hope it's something that they are able to find windows for, because it will demonstrate that even with how dominant some of these teams are or how good they look, that there are some things that are keeping them from being almost this immortal level of tier. Yeah. And it'll be a lot more accurate.
For BLG as well, worth highlighting here that they finished with the same score that they finished in split number 2. 12-2 here. Likewise, second place is 9-5. The last split it was JDG, but AL here and 9-5, a second place score definitely that they should be proud of. And I think for anyone's legend as well, the goal for them is international, obviously, and I think that a second place finish in the regular season lends them to likely being able to secure that one again. But they do have to be careful moving into the postseason. This is typically where AL, at least this year, have actually struggled. You know, they won out in split number 1. They were the best team through regular season in split 1, but then weren't able to see themselves all the way to international. Again, in split number 2, had a really shocking exit to a couple of notable upsets. As anyone's legend move into the postseason, we need to see them do just a little bit more to shore up their footing in the playoffs.
Well, Rude, unfortunately,
no on MVP.
No on MVP. But for the purpose of MVP versus MVP contender narrative, this is a nice way to put a ribbon on the end of a regular season, with Knight winning player of the game of their last series of the split against anyone's legend. At least the casters know ball! Yeah, the casters know ball! W casters!
Well done to them. Who else are we shouting out? I don't mind that we got an MVP vote for Ruler as well. The winner club, Viper. Hey, you guys, less said the better. Less said the better. The casters know ball. Summoners no ball, you know, and to an extent as well. I don't mind that Knight gets some MVP votes, but it definitely should have been on to secure something for this one, for this game, definitely. Now, can we get a Ruler player of the series? How about that?
Ruler?
How does that sound?
Brother, we mean Viper.
Sorry, yes, that's what I meant.
It's all good, it's all good. Viper player of the series would be pretty heat. I would be down for that. Unfortunately, I fear that this may be a Knight player of the series because it would... Woo!
There we go. That's what we like to see. Good.
Okay!
Ethical. Well done. Well done, LPL broadcast. We regularly beef. However, today you've done good. You've done well today. That was well earned by Viper. Consistently, really. The best part of this BLG roster for me in this series.
I love that they start off the highlight reel with game 1, obviously, because even though they ended up losing that match, I mean, every single bot lane, they were throwing hands level 1, and the way that the Ezreal Bard lane kicked off and just completely owning. Yeah, just... Anyway, producer Alec wants to go to bed, understandably. So let's go ahead and wrap up our show here, guys. With that said, our regular season has come to an end. So let's take a look at how the playoff bracket will turn out to be, as playoffs will be kicking off after play-ins concludes, which play-ins is going to start on August 28th. That should be
the Friday.
This Friday, and it's going to start at 11 p.m. Pacific. So wherever you are in the world, hopefully you can try and do some time conversion math and just say 11 p.m. Pacific. All right, and now change that to where you are. Oh, so by the way, 11 p.m. Pacific on the 27th. So morning of August 28th, night of the 27th. So Thursday night, Friday morning, to clarify for anyone that is...
It's an hour earlier than usual, right? That's what I'm getting. An hour earlier than usual. We usually start at midnight Pacific. It now starts an hour earlier for play-ins. Yeah. That's what that is.
Yeah, that is correct. As always, we want to give a huge shout out and big thank you to our Elite Coffee supporters, Aaron Soup, Mung, Gelati, and Andrea Duran. Their pledged financial contributions help level up the broadcast and give back to the cast and crew who strive to give you an English LPL product every single day. And with that, Rood, we've officially done it. The last regular season series, the last regular season split, it's all come to an end. Now we just have playoffs, and as you called out, a little bit of extra from LPL English with things like eventually a Demacia Cup, as well as will we potentially be doing regional finals, of course, after playoffs, and then into the World Championship, and then anything other after that, we'll let you know in the future. But it's been a hell of a ride, Rood.
I don't know if that was you ending or not, but it certainly has, and I'm so sorry for coming in here. But we'll call it a day there, folks. We'll catch you all on the flip side. Play-in starts on Friday. Don't miss it.